Alright guys, welcome back to week 8 of the NGDL, and I'm actually starting my little tour of the Green Division in the next 4 games, and the Green Division is the other division of our conference, and through a somewhat just unlikely scheduling quirk, I actually have them, all 4 of them in a row. Now, it's not unusual to actually play all the other teams in the division of the same conference as you, but the fact that I have them all in a row is a little bit of a minor coincidence, as I have IVpips, and then Fat Jesus, Sharpedo 43, and finally Skep in the next 4 weeks, ending the season in a division matchup against Zack Attack's Wild Chargers. So, yeah, so it's be relatively important, being that I am in this huge 3-headed lead in the yellow division. 3 teams of 5 and 2. It's going to be essential that I can find ways to win against this division. The first of these matches is against the Lisbon Leafeons, and his coach is IVpips, a guy who is very good. If you don't remember the name, this guy knows his stuff. He is, I mean, we actually met via Pokemon Go. He owns a massive Pokemon Go Discord, but he also played against me in many tournaments that were hosted there. And more importantly, he was actually my assistant coach last season for the Miami Dolphiones, in that absolutely special run last year. So he knows his stuff. He's a great guy to bounce ideas off of. He really knows Pokemon. Unfortunately, he is a little bit new to draft leagues. As you can see, he's starting. He started 2-5, so not a terrific record. I think he made a few classic mistakes when he put his draft together. But he's still a terrific opponent that I really need to be careful with, because it's not unheard of for him to try some really tricky things when he feels like he's down, and he is down. He really has nothing to lose, and I've said it before. Teams that have nothing to lose are usually the most scary, and if he wants to turn the season around, he has to win this week. He basically it's a must-win for him, because I don't think he could make the playoffs at 6-6. 7-5 might barely do it. So he definitely needs to win. For me, I really want to win too, because, like I said, I'm tied with Mr. Chabry and Quilliams23 right now at 5-2. So it's really a game I need to have. So there's the Miami Dolphiones. I didn't make any changes this week. I was really tempted to transform my Charizard into Charizard Y, and you'll see why in a minute. No pun intended there. But yeah, there's really no changes this week. Although Pokemon that's been on my roster all year that hasn't been brought might actually be brought this week. So, well, will be brought this week. So if you've been paying attention, I guess I already gave one of my Pokemon away. But let's go into the Lisbon Leafeon roster here. Now, 4-pips, and I know I call them IVpips, but I think it's actually supposed to be 4-pips. So we're going to call him now 4-pips, like it's supposed to be. Yeah, he's been retooling his roster as of late. Really, like I said, I ranked this roster 3rd in the division going into the season. It's obviously a really nice. It actually fits his playstyle very well. But one thing that I criticized it for in the Power Rankings video, where I went over every roster, is it's pretty darn slow. And things don't get better with the transactions he's made either, because yeah, he's been retooling the team, but when you start with Heatran and then Clefable, which is what he led his draft with, he didn't really leave a whole lot of room for speed, and he got rid of one of his fastest Pokemon, the Mega Latios, not too long ago. I think he brought in Golisopod for that, so reduced his speed. And this week, he actually ditched Golisopod during the final minutes, well, not really, final hours of the transaction period, which I did see, for Mega Slowbro. And it's pretty clear that he brought this Pokemon in probably to counteract Mega Charizard X. I was really tempted to transform into Y when I saw it, but I think it might have been kind of like a goading on his part for me to do that, because he has a few Pokemon that are capable of using Rock moves, and or would hit incredibly hard with Empower Rock. So I decided to stay put. I know that my team is pretty darn good. So like I said, this team is pretty slow. So this will be the first week I'm not bringing Araquanid. I feel like I don't need these sticky webs. And at first glance, maybe you would think, hey, Araquanid would be pretty good because it has that Bug Stab against Mega Slowbro. And it has that Water Stab for Heatran. And while you're correct on that, I feel like Araquanid just really isn't that useful against a lot of his team. Even using Leech Life against Mega Slowbro is a losing strategy. Now, I could Toxic the Mega Slowbro, but I feel like he has he's going to expect that. And one of the other things about Mega Slowbro that makes me a little bit nervous is its potential for Trick Room, which is a move I know that he loves. In fact, we've seen it firsthand in the Monotype tournament that I competed against him. He was the Grass-type Monotype player, and I was the Bug. Obviously a good matchup for me, but he actually He actually battled pretty well there using Trick Room, and I know that he's used that in his grass strategies in the past in that tournament. And he actually was kind of joking along with me in Discord not too long ago about the potential for Trick Room, so I have to consider that a possibility. But I think it's more likely we're going to see a Calm Mind Slowbro. But I think it definitely will be coming because he wants to, obviously, it's a great switch in for Mega Charizard X. But he also has, of course, the Clefable, which can be unaware or can be Magic Guard. It might be one unaware to help counteract a Mega Charizard X. Of course, Heatran, which can come in at least on a fire move. So, I mean, he really has a bulky team. But I do have the speed advantage this week. Now, unfortunately for me, though, his two fastest Pokemon, you can't really outspeed with anything other than Aerodactyl. That's the Kragonal and the Scyther. And while you might think, okay, Aerodactyl, I'm not bringing Aerodactyl this week, because Aerodactyl does outspeed both of them. You're right, and it does have great matchups because they're both weak to Rock. But Aerodactyl really doesn't do anything much against his bulkier threats, and it's just pretty much setup fodder for the Slowbro, and even like the Tran and the Clefable just kind of laugh at it. Which does mean I'm not going to be bringing a Defogger this week. But not bringing Araquanid and instead bringing Passimian allows me to pretty much not care too much about Stealth Rock, so I will be leading with my I am going to be leading with Passimian to hopefully catch that Donphan by surprise with a taunt, because I still would like to get rid of Stealth Rocks if possible, but it's not like the end of, it's not really the end of the world, not that I'm not bringing Defog, especially because even if my Mega Charizard X is forced to come in and take 50% because it hasn't Mega Evolved yet, I feel like most of his Pokemon are either slower or can't really damage Mega Charizard all that much, so I should be able to get at least a Roost off, and I can outpace them a little bit. So I feel like I can keep Mega Charizard healthy, and it's my only Stealth Rock weakness. Now, as I did mention, Spiritomb is coming this week. At least I hinted at. Spiritomb is a Pokemon I have not brought. It's been on the roster since day one. I drafted it. And I'm bringing it this week pretty much to hit that, because obviously Roserade's coming to hit that Slowbro, but I also really wanted another potentially special Pokemon, and I am going to bring a Calm Mind variant of Spiritomb, but it's actually a pretty interesting set that I'm going with. It actually has max defense and max special defense. And the reason I went that way is so I can make use of Pain Split. Now, that set, because it's Calm, should be able to take a Moonblast from the Clefable as long as it's not boosted, especially so if I have Calm Mind. And then, of course, my Pain Split will heal me nearly to full while crippling the Clefable. I'm also bringing the Darkinium Z on it, so it should be able to take down that Slowbro possibly by surprise, even without special attack investment with a Z Dark Pulse. But I'm also bringing Memento, and this is Z Memento is an amazing move. So it's going to, obviously it costs Spiritomb its life, but I figure I can use it on a turn that I think, okay, Spiritomb doesn't have 2 more turns. Hopefully I'll live that hit, go for the Memento, get the attack and special attack drop, and then heal a Pokemon to full, because I have a few Pokemon this week that are I'm relying on as walls for certain threats, that being Celesteela and my Crocodile, and neither of these Pokemon have really reliable recovery, so it's important to get that Z Memento. And I could also use Z Memento, or just even regular Memento, if I already popped off the Z Dark Pulse, to get maybe a easy switch in to Mega Charizard that so I can set up. So that's all I'm going to say. I think I have this game. Pretty well laid out going into, but I've already talked for 8.5 minutes. So yeah, I'm going to go ahead and play the match, and hopefully we will come out on top and go 6-2. But we have to be careful about any sneaky tricks that IVpips has up his sleeve. So good luck, have fun, and all that. Let's go. Alright, so here we go. Looking at the teams, not a whole lot different than I thought he would bring. In fact, actually pretty much identical. So yeah, at least we got that part right. I'm gonna go ahead and lead with my Passimian, like I said, because I kind of thought he would lead Donphan. Instead, he actually surprises me here, leading the Scyther. So that's a little interesting. I do have the Koba Berry, so I am pretty confident that I can stay in and take an Aerial Ace if he goes for that. So I end up trying to go for the Rock Slide. He ends up going for the U-turn, which I thought was a possibility, especially if he's Scarfed or Banded. And that does look like Banded damage, and he goes into Slowbro. I go for my Rock Slide, and I miss. So that's not great. I decided to go for the Taunt, though, in case he wants to try to like set up a Calm Mind. Probably should have predicted this Scald here, and just switched out, but that sucks. Passimian takes some damage, and of course, he gets the burn. I get a miss, he gets a burn. It's all good, though. I'm just gonna go ahead and switch out. I wish I brought Aromatherapy on Roserade now, though. It was like, it was on my Roserade set until like the last revision, but oh well. So I'm gonna actually burn this Aqua Berry way too soon. I was hoping that he would not switch it up for the Flamethrower, which I knew that he'd probably have, but indeed he does, so I waste that pretty much, as he just goes out into his Type Null now as I go for a Leech Seed, which is fine. Now, Type Null, you kind of know what it's going to do. It's going to, you know, it's bulky. It's going to probably be that slow defensive pivot. It could T-Wave. I'm not really too worried about it because Celesteal is not that fast in the first place. I decided to go for the Earthquake here. Why did I go for this Earthquake? I don't know. I thought I just wanted some chip damage on this thing, but yeah, I probably should have just went for the Heavy Slam because it would have been stronger. But either way, he's going to go ahead and T-Wave me, which is kind of annoying, but I kind of expected. But yeah, that's what I can do. So he's just going to go for the U-turn. That's going to do practically nothing, as he gets the safe switch here into Scyther. And I was going for a Toxic, and then I missed, so there's a 10% miss. So things not really going my way here early. He goes for a knockoff for some reason. I guess he was predicting a switch, although I really have no reason to switch. Scyther really doesn't have a whole lot to do to me, so in comes his Type Null again. Which is fine, because I was just trying to go for yet another Toxic, and of course, I get paralyzed, and now I'm just going to go for a Leech Seed. Figuring that he'd probably outspeed me and just go for a U-turn. But he actually surprised me here with the Roar, so that's interesting. Gets me the free switch in of Roserade, though, and unfortunately I brought Hidden Power Ground and Hidden Power Fire this week, so I know that the switch in to Scyther could actually happen. But I don't really want to risk the T-Wave if I can't kill it either, so I switch out into my Passimian, figuring it's pretty much a free thing, but he ends up going for the Magic Coat, so it's actually pretty good that I did that, because if he was max special defense, he might have lived, and that would just be bad. So he's going to go ahead and withdraw his Type Null, and he goes out into Slowbro, and yeah, this thing is going to take a close combat really well, especially since I'm burned, which I was just kind of going for to hit that guy super effectively, but that's okay. I figure I'm just going to go for a Gunk Shot here and just let him kill me. I don't want him to get off any Calm Mind, so I do want to taunt first, and yeah, I'll just let my Passimian go down pretty much. I'll go for a Gunk Shot, see if I can get maybe a Poison proc. Now you might notice he's not Mega Evolving his Slowbro quite yet, because yeah, he wants to preserve the Regenerator ability, but I still am anticipating a Mega Slowbro to avoid potentially getting, you know, yeah, you know, crit and all that. But yeah, unfortunately that's going to take care of my Passimian. And I do have to switch, so I'm going to go out into my Charizard now, and here I want to get this thing in before he gets Stealth Rocks up. And I was actually predicting a switch here into Donphan, so I was going to go for a Flare Blitz. Unfortunately, I misclicked. And yeah, this really sucks. I go for a Dragon Dance, apparently. I could have sworn I clicked Flare Blitz, but no, apparently I misclicked, and it's Dragon Dance, which is actually a really critical misclick, because Flare Blitz would have been a solid 2-hit KO on Donphan, put him in a pickle, but now I have to switch because I don't want to take a Earthquake, and yeah, that's really stupid. Yeah, I have no idea what happened. Like, I was really surprised when my game went for a Dragon Dance, because I could have sworn I hit a Flare Blitz, and I was really happy about him switching into Donphan at the time. But yeah, okay, we can maybe play around this. It really does suck, because it would have crippled this Donphan potentially and made it harder for him to set up his own rocks and all that. Not to mention, if we do want to set up a Charizard sweep at some point, we're going to definitely need to wither down that Donphan a little bit, especially to avoid it keeping sturdy. So I go for a Toxic. I was kind of hoping this Clefable would be unaware, but it appears to be Magic Guard. It does have Heal Bell anyway, so it's not a huge deal, because he's going to go ahead and cure everything. And here I was just actually going for a Heavy Slam, which would have done amazing damage to this Clefable, but there's the Parahax. And it's like 5 or 6 times now. This thing is just failed to act, so Celesteela, you need to step it up, bud. So I go for the Heavy Slam. It does nothing on me to Slowbro. I was trying to hit the freaking Clefable, which, you know, thanks for the paralysis, game. Thank you very much. So he goes for a Calm Mind. I decided just to go for the Toxic to avoid him being able to sweep me here. So yeah, it's gonna obviously force the Slowbro to switch out at some point and maybe get the Heal Bell again. So yeah, I'm just going to go ahead and switch out, and I go out into my Spiritomb, which is coming in for the first time this match. And yeah, it's going to get hurt by the rocks, go for the Flamethrower. It's okay, I have max Spadef investment. I anticipate a switch here into Clefable, so I'm just going to go ahead and go for a, assuming he's max HP, well yeah, I'm just going to go for a Pain Split. I assume he's max HP, so this will do some pretty decent, you know, damage and recovery. So I do have to switch out. I don't want to take a Moonblast quite yet. I know I could take one if I wanted to, but I'm just going to go into my Charizard, and I do that, well, yeah, he just goes for the Wish. I do that because I kind of just want to go for the Flare Blitz now, But the Wish might mess up my plans against that Donphan if he does switch it in. But I'm just going to go ahead and try it anyway. See how much I can do to this Donphan. It'll help me scout the set, how much physical investment he actually has. So I go for the Flare Blitz, and as you can see, I get a ton of damage on this thing. That's actually more than half, more than I was expecting. So he's probably not full physical bulk on that Donphan. Makes me really sad that I misclicked that one turn. So I'm just going to go ahead and switch out now. I still am not, I'm not confident that Flare Blitz can take it out at that range. But it might actually be close, closer than I thought, so that's good news. So I'm just going to go on to my Celesteela, and I was hoping he'd go for the Earthquake to be safe, but no, he's just going to land 2 Stone Edges, because, you know, that's fine. Jeez, that Celesteela, though. How many freaking misses slash parries did it get? And my miss some Rock Blast, or Rock Slide. So this is not a good situation. I'm a little bit behind, but I can still come back with the some good play. So I'm just going to go into my Roserade. In comes Scyther. Go for a Giga Drain. I kind of figured Scyther would come in. I probably should have just Sludge Bombed. But I really wanted to I really do need to wither down that Donphan a little bit. But yeah, I'm just going to go to my Crocodile now to get the Intimidate. I am Choice Scarfed, I think, so yeah, I know that I can outspeed this thing unless he is also Choice Scarfed. Actually, he probably is Choice Scarfed, so I probably can outspeed. But I'm hoping he doesn't go for the Bug move, obviously. Indeed, he does not. He goes for the Air Release to try to kill me, so I was kind of afraid of a U-turn. Thankfully, he didn't do that. And now I'm just going to go ahead and set up Stealth Rocks. I know it's a Choice Scarf Stealth Rock, but I really did need to get those up in order to hurt Scyther switching back in. So going to go ahead and switch out now into Roserade against this here type Null, and he does go for the U-turn this time. And I'm hoping that it doesn't do that much to me, but it ends up doing, well, Roserade doesn't have great physical defense, and it ends up doing a little bit more than I wanted, because this Donphan can come in now, and looking at the damage calc, the Ice Shard could kill me, but I really can't afford to switch out, because I don't want to take damage on Charizard, I don't want to take super effective damage on my Crocodile, and unfortunately it's going to kill my Roserade. And that sucks, so I'm going to go into Spiritomb, and I'm hoping that he just wants to set up Stealth Rocks here because of my Charizard. Instead, he makes a great play going back out in Clefable, and I knew I probably shouldn't have popped this off. I probably should have just went for the Dark Pulse, if anything, but I decided to pop off my Z-move, and this is not good because this guy resists, you know, my Dark-Kin EMZ, and yeah, Black Hole Eclipse, while a super awesome move, isn't going to be able to do too much to this Clefable. So I kind of just wasted here. I really probably should have saved it for a Z Memento, which would have been able to not give me a good, you know, setup opportunity. It also heals a Pokemon to full, but what can you do? I kind of wasted that opportunity. I was anticipating a Moonblast here because it hits pretty much all of my Pokemon really hard that I have left, so I just go for a Memento. He ends up just going for the Heal Bell, so once I heal a Slowbro, that's fine. It's not a huge deal. But now I just go out into my my Charizard, and at this point in the match, I am going to lose, probably, because he still has that Donphan. He still has, well, he still has that Donphan. So I'm just gonna go for the Roost. I'm kind of hoping. I don't even know what I'm hoping for. I just go for the Roost to get some HP back. Maybe I can switch out. He goes for the Wish, and now I'm like, okay, there's no reason he doesn't go into Donphan here. I have to go for the Flare Blitz. Maybe I'll get a crit or something. To be able to take this thing out, maybe a burn, Worm would be nice. Maybe I can set up a Roost and some, you know, Dragon Dances. Gonna go for that, and it does bring it down to red, but there is the Wish. And unfortunately, I'm in pretty much a no-win situation here, because if he stays in, I mean, yeah, I can't just Roost because he's just gonna go for the Earthquake. So I pretty much have to try to kill this Donphan. I do, which just shows you how much power Charizard X has. But unfortunately, this allows him to go to Heatran. He does have the air balloon, so it's not like I can really hurt him that much anyway. And I just go for the Roost, hoping that maybe, just maybe, he wouldn't do the smart thing and just Earthpower, but he does. So yeah, I was going to kill my Charizard, and unfortunately, that is the game pretty much, because my last Pokemon is Crocodile. I have to lock myself into something. I decided to go up for a Stone Edge just because, maybe I can keep critting, you know, if I crit a lot, and plus it hits the Scyther. I can't lock myself into Earthquake because of the Scyther, so go for that, and yeah, it's not going to kill the Heatran, and he's just going to be able to get off the game-winning Lava Plume, or whatever that is, and yeah, that's game. So yeah, ooh, what a beatdown. I have to say, I mean, obviously my emotional state is a little bit down after that. We lost 5-0, Granted, we had like some hacks go against us early on. That misclick the Flare Blitz really sucked because if I could have gotten that damage there on the Donphan that turn, I think it would have like completely changed how that game played. Plus, if I would have gotten the Heavy Slam on the Clefable, which got Parahaxed, I think that game could have really been busted open. It's a shame. He played really well. I don't want to take anything away from 4pips. He played a great game. He had great prep going in. I made some mistakes early on, and even later in the match, I made a few mistakes this game. But yeah, just looking at that game, it's like, man, it could have been completely different had that Parahax not happened. Got that Heavy Slam on the Clefable, would have crippled it, made him forced to have to heal itself, which obviously would have reduced its potential as a cleric. Then, I could have, if I only didn't misclick. I really thought I did hit Flare Blitz. There's really no reason to go for the Dragon Dance there with Donphan still having Sturdy up. It was like, obviously I wasn't doing that, but I guess I hit the wrong button. And misclicks suck, and they happen, so rip me. So anyway, I gave IVpips the opportunity to, well, he's a good battler too. I'm happy for him that he is now has a chance to come back here later in the season, but at the same time, yeah, I'm down to 5-3 now, and if Quilliams and Mr. Chabry both win, they'll be 6-2. So this loss really hurt. I have to make sure that I can come back and sweep the rest of this green division if I want to have a chance to take the division potentially. So yeah, that sucks, but we have to keep focusing forward. Can't let a bad loss get you down too much. Yeah, so today's question of the day, like I said, I was going to give it to IVpips, and he wants to know what your favorite ability is. I've asked this probably a few times before, but I left it up to him, so there you go. And my favorite ability is probably Intimidate. Just always a classic ability. It's extremely useful, great utility. So yeah, that's how I would answer. So leave a comment about that. Hopefully the Dolphiones can, get back in the win column next week against a really good opponent in, I believe it's Fat Jesus next week? Yeah, that's who it is, and it's Carolina Mammothswines. But yeah, so see you guys again later, and ooh, what a rough loss. Gonna take a little while to recoup after this one.